Hello, everybody. Welcome to Build a Quilt. I'm Diana, and we are the home of patchwork in the hoop of your embroidery machine. That's right. All you need is a 5x7 hoop to create beautiful patchwork with your embroidery machine. Not embroidery that looks like patchwork, but actual honest-to-goodness patchwork, just like all your friends might be doing with any other patchwork quilting technique. We have lots of how-to videos here on our channel, so please feel free to go ahead and take a look at those. And we have some free patterns over at our website. I'll share that information with you in a little while, and you can check that out too. So this video, though, is our how-to video for our newest block called the Pulsar. This is the block, the Pulsar. 8-pointed star blocks are really popular in quilting. I mean, you could almost say they're the basis of quilting. They get made all the time, and they're really beautiful. It's that kind of a block that a non-quilter looks at and goes, wow. You know, that is what an 8-pointed star block is. But typically, those 8-pointed star blocks are very even in their blocks. Let me show you one. This is an 8-pointed star block, probably the most basic of all 8-pointed star blocks. And you can see that the points are all even. Very simple block, very beautiful block, can be done in lots of variations. However, the Pulsar, just like an actual pulsar out there in the universe, is kind of a unique star. And a pulsar spins, has a really interesting spin to it. So when you look at pictures of a pulsar, you kind of see beams going off just a little bit everywhere. And so when I designed and created this pulsar block, I thought, let's do something that makes this look like it could have a spin to it. And so with this block, your star points are both large and small. And there's going to be a full demonstration in this video to show you how to make the segments. And the very nice thing about this block is you're only making 2 segments. The easiest one of all is the square. And then the other one is our star point segment. And if you've made any of our blocks where you've had a flippy corner, as we call them, then this is no problem at all for you. You know how to do it. But what might confuse us is the fact that one of them is large, one of them is small. It might look like it takes some different kind of technique. It really doesn't, but there's a full how-to video for how to create these segments here in this video. Now, when you purchase your Pulsar block package at our website, this is the written pattern set that comes with it. It can be downloaded. You can look at it on your computer, on your iPad, your tablet, whatever you like. But if you print it out, this is what it looks like. And I put 3 of them across the front on the cover because I wanted to share with you that when I originally designed it, I created it to look like it might be a star in the night sky. And then the sample I created, as you can see here, I did with holiday fabrics just because I really love these fabrics. Excuse me. And I'm in the process right now of making everything for the holidays. But there's another way you could make this, and that is by making each and every star point a different fabric. Would be 8 little pieces of fabric, and you would have a look someone like this. And in all honesty, this is probably more like when you see pictures of pulsars. If you Google them and you see those out on the internet, they're usually done in all different colors because of the light range, the frequencies that the light is reflected on gives you lots of different colors. So that might be a truer look if you want something like that. But all in all, it's a really fun block to make. In your package, as with all of our patterns, you are shown right up front the segments that you'll be creating. So you know right up front, what is it that it's going to take to make these? You're going to get a general supply page. Then you're going to get a fabric information and cut sheet. And this is it for the Pulsar. It's really easy. And this block Excuse me, I am trying to get over a cold. I apologize. And this block comes in 3 sizes, 10 by 10, 12 by 12, and 15 by 15. Our sample today is 10 by 10, and it will work in a quilt with any of the other Build a Quilt 10 by 10 blocks that we have created, and there are tons of them out there. But you get the information for all 3 sizes, and you'll get the digital files for all 3 sizes as well. And then you're also going to get a layout sheet that tells you exactly how to lay this out and put it together. And then you're going to get our exclusive Build a Quilt coloring sheet. Coloring sheets are great to help you decide what colors you want to use before you start cutting fabrics. Decide, maybe do 2 of these. Decide if you want your star points all one color, or if you want to play around with different colors. You wouldn't have to necessarily use 8. You could do a small and a large opposite each other in the same color all the way around to kind of give you a variegated look as well. But that's our coloring sheet. Then you're going to get more instructions throughout the rest of the printed material. Plus, you'll get all of the digital files that you need, and all of the basic embroidery machine formats are available for you, from Bernina, Baby Lock, Brother, Janome, Husqvarna Viking, Elna, Singer. I said Janome, you name it, they're out there. There's 14 different ones, which pretty much cover all of the home embroidery machine market. And as I said before, all you need is a 5 by 7 hoop. Now, the next step in this video will be a fabric information section. Then we'll do our demos. Then there will be a little clip on how you put all of these together without having to use a 1/4 inch foot. That's right, with Build a Quilt, you don't ever have to worry about making a 1/4 inch seam, because all of that is built into your digital pattern. So all you have to do is follow a little line that is built into the pattern when you sew them together, and you have the perfect seam allowance each and every time. Here at Build a Quilt, we like to use stabilizer that is just wash away stabilizer. Here, I'm trying to grab a piece without turning all the way around. There we go. You just need regular wash away stabilizer, the kind that you would use for freestanding lace. You can use it off the roll. You can use pre-cuts. Because we use 5 by 7 hoops for most of our pieces, the pre-cuts stabilizer works really well. However, if you have larger hoops, you can hoop that with stabilizer off the roll and then get more segments in a hooping. And that's a little more, can be a little bit more economical sometimes. I know a lot of you love to do that, and that's perfectly fine. And then I will come back to wrap things up at the end. So let's continue on with this video. Okay, this section of the video is all about the fabric for our Pulsar block. The Pulsar is basically a 9-patch block. So you're going to be cutting 9 background fabrics, all the same size, super easy. Now, I've kind of chosen, as you can see here, some holiday fabrics, but if you truly want to make it look like a Pulsar in the night sky, you might choose blues, blacks, silvers, golds, things of that nature, whatever you like. But you're going to have 9 of one size. These are all background. They're used for the 4 corners, the center, and for each one of the star points. And you'll see that when we show you how to make the star point. And then you will also be cutting 2 larger squares in your fabric A, which is your star point fabric, and those 2 will get cut on the diagonal. So if that's a square, they're cut on the diagonal so that you get 4 pieces, and that will create all of the larger star points. And then you're going to cut 2 more squares and cut those on the diagonal in fabric A, and these create all of the smaller star points to give you that spinning Pulsar kind of a look. And that's all you need for the Pulsar block. It's really very simple. You'll choose the size to cut based on which size block you're making from the pattern. Let's move on. Okay, this video is the demonstration for the star point block of the Pulsar star. It's made the exact same way.
regardless of which of the 3 sizes that you choose to make. Here it is completely finished and cut out of the stabilizer, and you can see the background fabric, the larger star point and the smaller star point to kind of give it that rotation look that we talked about. Here is the same example, but still in the stabilizer so that you can see kind of what it looks like. It looks totally weird, right? Because you've got all this leftover fabric out here, but you'll just be trimming a 1/4 inch around with your ruler, and then it'll be just like that one there. And all you're going to need are 3 pieces of your fabric, 1 background square, 1 large triangle, and 1 small triangle. Of course, this makes the larger star point, the smaller star point, and the background piece. Now I'm going to bring my hoop over because, as you can see, I hope you can see, I know it's pretty light. There, you can see that much better. The very first thing you do is stitch steps 1 and 2 directly on the stabilizer. That gives you the border and basically the outline of the entire piece. Now we're going to put this back over onto the machine. I'm doing this one-handed, so I'm trying to do this well. Then you're going to take your background fabric and you're going to lay it right over the top of the entire piece. And I can feel here, I need to move that down a little bit, I can feel my line right around here, so I know I have plenty of fabric outside that stitch line for trimming later on. And now it is going to stitch down the background fabric, that kind of funny shape that you saw, and then we will need to trim off some excess to do our star points, as you can see. So all of that is the background of the finished piece. We're going to trim off that corner and that corner. I'm going to, I'll just pause for a second and I'll be right back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so when you're trimming, you want to use your sharpest shears. I really love these Karen K. Buckley. It's what I recommend because of the serrated edge. It keeps your fabric from fraying badly, but you can use any of your fabric shears that you have. And then you're going to come in and just trim away till you have roughly a 1/4 inch, maybe a little less, tiny bit more. Just eyeball it. There's no need to measure it because the seam is all built in. You just want to make sure that you have some fabric outside of that seam line. All right, then the very next step is to make the larger part of the star point, or the larger star point. You're going to take your larger triangle and you're going to lay them. Now, if you're using a print, lay it print side down so that the right sides of the fabric are together. And so I'm laying that down here. And I kind of make sure that a little bit more is down here. That way we make sure and we cover this bottom section, which is wider, with plenty. And that's plenty fine up there. Now I'm going to bring this back over to the machine. Pop it in. And it is going to stitch down our star point, and then we're going to flip and stitch the whole thing into place. Now at this point, if you like, and it can be helpful, I just take my glue stick, my fabric glue stick, and I put just a little bit of glue there, just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to flip my star point, kind of give it a little press with my fingers. And now it's going to stitch that star point right into place. And there's no trimming after this because you'll be trimming it basically out of the stabilizer. And when you do that, you get rid of all of that leftover on the outside. Our next step is to do the smaller star point. And so you take, again, your small triangle and you lay it right sides together, right there. Again, if you like, this is the time you can use a little bit of fabric glue. Now, the fabric glue washes away when you wash away your stabilizer, so it won't stay in there. But if for some reason you don't want to use fabric glue, that's fine. You don't have to. You'll probably just want to hold the outer edge or something and press the inner bit here a little bit better. So if you're not going to use fabric glue, you're going to really want to make sure and give that inner piece a good press so it lays nice and flat for you. Hold it maybe out here on the outer edges, keeping your fingers away from the needle. We don't want any accidents. We don't want anyone off to the emergency room to get a needle out. And I have a story about that from being at an event once, when a woman actually had a needle break off inside her finger and they had to take her. She had to have surgery to get it out. Now, the last thing we're going to do is stitch all the way around, which is going to give us our stitch line for stitching these together. So we're going to place a couple of pieces of our tape because we have a corner here that looks mischievous to me, like it could get caught in my foot, because the foot is going to be coming this way, and as it comes this way, I can just see it getting hooked. But if we place this tape outside of that stitched line and press that right there, it's not going to catch that and it will be fine. But down here we have a similar thing. So let's place that outside the stitched line and kind of, whoops, I'm going to replace that because I got it a little bit over my stitches. The reason, this is a pro tip for using tape with your embroidery or with your Build A Quilt patchwork in the hoop. Typically, we have always been told just to place that tape over and peel it up over the stitches and peel it off. It's very likely that you will someday rip your stitches if you do that. And it doesn't need to be on the stitches. And it always leaves a little bit of tape in the stitches. So just lay it outside the tape just so that it keeps that little section nice and flat. And now we're going to do the very last step, and then we'll have this star point done. We're not doing the tape over here because our foot is going to be going this way and it's not going to catch that piece of fabric because it's going in the same direction. And now I just take my tape off. I take my stabilizer with my square out of the hoop, and I make 4 of these in total for each block. Okay, now it's ready to move on. Okay, so here we are at the machine, and we're going to be doing the square. Now, you're going to say, I know, why would we just stitch one piece down on the stabilizer when we could just cut it and sew it? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Part of the technique of piecing in the hoop is to give quilters who have never quilted and pieced before some guidelines to help them with final sewing, and to give all of us the ability to sew our quilt together without having to have a 1/4-inch foot on our sewing machine, without having to worry about accuracy when we're doing that, but without, even though we're not worrying about accuracy because all of our seam lines and things are built in, it's actually helping us to be more consistent. And consistency in our quilting is what makes our quilts really so beautiful. You know, I like to say about quilting, you can do anything you want in quilting, and don't let someone scream at you if you have like one little point that isn't exact. Perfect is the killer of joy in quilting, I think. I don't recommend you ever trying to be perfect. But what this does is helps you to be consistent so that you get everything just as it should be, and your project will come together nicely. But you won't have to worry about, oh, is my 1/4-inch a good 1/4-inch, a scant 1/4-inch? I've been quilting for over 50 years, and this really is going to help you with all that consistency without having to worry about it. And it gives you another thing as well. It gives you a final box so that you have that stitch guide when you go to stitch your squares together. So I'll show you more of that when we do our trimming. So here we are, we're all set up for our stitch out again. Now the square really only has two pieces. We're going to do our border.
just like we've done before. I've done everything on this wash away stabilizer. And I will admit, this one is by far the easiest and fastest. In fact, according to my machine here, at 700 stitches a minute, this is all stitched out in a minute or less. So pretty quick. Now let's speak about speed for a little bit. I always recommend that you don't piece above 700 stitches per minute. You can do your embroidery that way and all, but quilting is not about speed. And whenever we go and start to worry about speed, high speeds, that's when we end up with more mistakes, even in this process. So I say don't go above 700 stitches a minute on your machine speed. If your machine doesn't even go that high, good. That's good. Usually I do 600 to 700 stitches a minute on my machine. I put my little bit of glue there. Now I'm going to lay my square of fabric down, and I can kind of feel where my border is. Okay, it's not exactly even on all sides, but it doesn't matter. I have plenty of fabric there for trimming. Now, my second and my last piece, because I don't really have to do that basting or that stitched out border again, because it's really doing it for me now. I am just going to stitch this down. This is my final stitch step for doing my square. So now all of my squares are going to be exactly the same size. That's the consistency thing, not only with your seams, but when you cut. A lot of times, oh, we think we cut everything right. And if you've been a quilter in more traditional ways, you know what I mean when I say squaring up a square. You never have to square up when you piece in the hoop. It's really nice not to have to do that. So this one is done just like that. So our square is finished. Now we're going to go over under my other camera and we're going to talk about trimming these out. And then we'll be ready for our last little bit of our talk here on our how-to video for Build a Quilt in the Hoop, Block Basics Set 1.
Hi everybody, so this is Diana and I'm here at my sewing machine to show you how to sew your pieces together without getting that stitch line to show. Now you can see here I just have two little half square triangles. I've used the pin method up here at the point to make sure they're lined up, and I just have one clip here. Now what I do first is when I put this in my machine, I get my needle right to where the line would be, right on that stitch line, okay? Then I come over to my machine's tools and I take my width down by 1, and that's all. Now I'm going to put it back up, and I'm going to take you back over to here and let you see that. Okay, so watch the needle, how that moves. I'm going to move it now. See how it just moved one place to the inside, or I guess as you're looking at it, it would be to the left. That would be to the inside. Now I'm going to place my needle down, and I can go ahead and remove my clip because this is a small piece, and I can sew right down. And I have my stitch length at 1.8, and you can see now that I've already done a few stitches, it is still right one click in. It's not directly on top of it, and so I should, when I'm done, be able to finish and not have that black line sewn, and you just follow it all the way down. Now I'm going to cut my thread and bring it out, and I will open this up and bring it right back over so you can see it. So there it is, opened up. Now you might see a little of the black in this case because I used that marker, but when I'm just going to open up my seam in the back and hold it open for you. But you can see when I hold it open, that's just a little piece of thread that I can pull out of there. That's there. That's gone. And now you don't see it at all. You don't see any of the black thread, which I used for demonstration purposes, but you don't see any of my original embroidery thread from making the patchwork itself. And that is just by moving that needle one space and one space only. And again, I always stitch these with a 1.8 or a 2.0 stitch length so that it really holds these together when you go and open them up. And when I open it up here, you can see the line all the way down on both sides, and that's what you should be able to do. So I hope that you found that helpful. That was a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. And now we'll move on with the rest of the Q&A for today.
Okay, wasn't that easy to do? The Pulsar block is a great block for beginners because you are learning how to do the basic square, and you're also learning how to do those flippy corners, which is basically how most blocks in the Build a Quilt method get made. And so whether you're new or more experienced Build a Quilter, you'll be able to make this in no time at all. I will show you the back of my block. That's what it looks like. I've not washed out my stabilizer yet, but I will do that next. And then I will give it a good press and all will be well. I can put it into my quilt. If I'm going to put it into a quilt pattern that I already have, I'm going to substitute it for a block. I can do anything like that with the block as long as the block size fits. And remember, this pattern comes in a 10 by 10, 12 by 12, and 15 by 15 inch block version, and you get all of that in the pattern set. So if you have any questions about Build a Quilt or our Pulsar block, please contact us at support@sewandcommon.com, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible. Typically between 9 and 4, Monday through Friday, we're right on that. If it's in the evening or over the weekend, it may take us till the next morning or so to get back with you, but we do our very best not to make you wait for an answer to your question. And if you need to pick up your Pulsar pattern, then you can go to our website, www.mybuildaquilt.com. Not only can you find the pattern for the Pulsar, you can also find the pattern for the basic 8-point star. We also have some free patterns over there. We have all of our sets. We have this lovely floret wreath pattern set over there. Lots to look at. So please go to the website and take a look. And while you're at the website, go ahead and subscribe. That way you get notification first when all of the new patterns, the blog, all of that come out before it hits anywhere else. All righty. So I hope that you all enjoyed that. I do want to share with you that we do, give me just a second. I'm looking for it. I can't do two things at once. Here we go. I do want to let you all know that we here at Build a Quilt do have gift cards available. They are e-gift cards. They will come to you on the date you request in the amount that you've chosen on the website. And you will get a link and a code. And your gift card, it will not expire. So, you know, if you don't get around to use it till next year or the year after, you forget you have it, which who forgets they have a gift card for something about quilting? I don't. I go right in and do my shopping. But whenever you use it, it'll be available because it's not going to expire for you. When you go to our website, up at the top of the dashboard, there's a word that says more. It's a drop-down box. And when you drop down there at the bottom, you'll see the words gift card. Just click there and it'll take you right to the gift card page. So if you are a Build a Quilter and you maybe would like some Build a Quilt gift cards for Christmas or holidays, end of the year holidays, you might want to let someone in your family know that it's really easy for them to go in and do that. And in that page, it'll also ask if it's not for the person purchasing, if it's for someone else, it lets you put in their information so that the gift card goes to the right place. Alrighty, everybody. We also have, through the 15th of this month, we have a coupon available called Thanks 30. We put this out around the Thanksgiving time, and we've extended it through the 15th. Our thanks to all of you, 30% off everything on our Build a Quilt website, except for our Quilt Lab 2025 subscription service. So with that, thanks 30, fill your card up. You get 30% off each and every item, except for that Build a Quilt subscription. However, we do have a coupon for that right now as well through the 15th of December, QL Sub 2025, QLSUB 2025. And that gets you a little bit of a discount off of the Quilt Lab subscription. You can read all about what's in that right on the homepage of our website. And this year, we did not raise the fee for the subscription service. And we've changed it a little bit. We've added lots more new to it. And we know that you're going to love it. Everyone that has been a part of our first year of subscription with Quilt Lab has had great feedback, has enjoyed it. And so I know you will too. So give that a look as well. Until next time, everybody, whether you're a quilter, if you are a quilter, you know what it means when I say quilt life beautiful. If you're not a quilter, but you're going to be looking for gifts for a quilter, then help them quilt life beautiful with something that you can purchase at our website. Until next time, everybody, quilt life beautiful. Bye for now.